This week's 62. We should start off very quickly by saying that Paolo is sorting his light out, which is why there might be like a little bit of weird noise, but it is what it is. We've got a big episode today. Not too much to talk about, but we're building into things. We're building into things, and we've got some interesting topics.
Fuck it, you're going here. Sorry.
This is comedy gold, man. I might just let you. That almost ended too early.
I hate it. It's gonna annoy me. We'll figure it
out. Some things to note. We have 2 pre-recorded episodes coming out across next week. So boxing 63 and 64, and then we're back to normal for 65. Although I will try and be there. That can't be confirmed just yet. We've got a big week this week in some interesting topics. We'll get into them, but I mean, let's roll the intro and then we'll just get straight into that. Okay, so boxing this week 62. There is an echo. Oh, no, it's gone. That was weird. Right, not sure why that happened.
What happened?
There was an echo, but it's gone. It's probably just the software, not you or me. Right, we've got a lot to go through. We'll do a very quick weekly roundup. Like I said, there's not actually been a whole lot to talk about. A couple exciting things. Something
we've had a couple of breaks. Can I just say in boxing, because we had like a weird break with a couple of weeks on no fights. Then we had like 2 weeks of fights.
Yeah.
Now we've kind of had a weird break. I mean, I know we've had obviously the Queensbury card over the weekend just gone.
Yeah.
But that felt more like a sort of, in comparison to obviously the shows we've been covering recently, probably not as big, but as important, but not as big as maybe the other ones in terms of maybe the exposure they were getting. But yeah man, it's been a weird week of boxing anyway. But yeah, sorry, carry on, Connor.
No, it's it has been weird, and then we are going to talk a little bit about that sort of scheduling because it feels like everything's built up for Canelo Crawford and very little before that. Which we don't love to see it, but Canelo Crawford is huge, so I kind of understand it. The things to mention are Ring Magazine, Turkey Al Sheikh have announced their newest show, or their newest type of show, which is the Underdog event. Pretty much it's prospects in 50-50s. So these are not big names. I mean, I recognize 3 of these people are on the entire card. So this is really prospects where they're going to make a bit of a name for themselves. I quite like it. I think generally the rule is they're under 10-0, but they've all got an 0. It's good. It's good stuff. I like that. Then we've got, is there anything really worth note that we're not going to talk about anyway? Andy Ruiz is back in full training. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed to find out he wasn't in full training, but Andy Ruiz is back looking to do sort of final push before really he's too old and he's just going to lose his rankings anyway. I don't know. Is there much chance for him?
I think
he's a good heavyweight, but
naturally, obviously, he'll have his reasons that he wants to box again. But I'm really not sure where he fits in this heavyweight landscape now. Although he's a good name to get on his record for some of the British fighters who want to test themselves at a higher level. So
definitely,
and it's depending on who he fights, it's a difficult fight for people as well. I think we have to give Ruiz a lot of respect in the sense that the guy's amateur career is silly. I mean, how many fights has he had amateur? It's mental. And then we talk about his pro record. If I'm not mistaken, Ruiz has had over 200 fights as an amateur.
I think he might have.
Minimal losses on it. And then as a pro, up to a certain point, his only losses really come against up to a certain point, he fought he early on in his career when no one really kind of knew who he was. Because I think after the Joshua fight, people took notice of him, especially when he got the win, and he become obviously a unified world heavyweight champion.
Yeah. He had 110 amateur fights. Sorry, that were 110 that were noted. But you got to remember, there's a lot of fights, especially in sort of Mexico, that you won't necessarily hear about.
I saw unofficially that he's had
exactly.
he's had up over 200 fights, but 110 recorded amateur bouts. But and then obviously you go into his pro record, and he fought even earlier on. He fought Joseph Parker early doors as well, which people don't realize. That was pre Joshua as well. But like I said to you, some respect's got to be given to him for what he's achieved. Definitely, I think the biggest thing I've never understood people say is he's just a fat guy that boxes. When it's a very silly comment to make, because he's got quick hands, he can punch fast, and aesthetically, whilst he might not look, there ain't many boxers who aesthetically look like Mr. Olympia. It's just heavyweight boxing. I mean, we talk about him being Tyson Fury of this heavyweight generation, one of the best. Shape-wise, he's not in. He doesn't look like he's in shape, but he is. So this whole I don't know. This whole thing needs to stop about fighters having to look a certain way. Because on the other hand, if a fighter comes in and loses and they're built like Mr. Olympian, they get called robotic. So you can't win with some fans.
No.
But yeah, Ruiz is I hope he can come back. I just don't know what he can come back to now. I think since he lost his heavyweight title, he took his eye off the ball massively. Obviously, big paydays, that is a big thing as well. And
he has fought, but he's taken, after his loss to Anthony Joshua, he took almost a year and a half, 2 years off. And then he beat Chris Arreola, who has never been a great heavyweight. And then he beat Ortiz about a year and a half later. And then he drew to Miller back in August last year. So we're over a year since his last fought. And the Miller fight was kind of memed a little bit for how bad it was. It wasn't a good, neither of them did well in that fight. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's an opportunity for him to push back. He is a big name in his own right, but he's not a bigger name than some of the other guys that are looking to get a shot at heavyweight at the championship. So it's a difficult one. That is kind of the talk of everything at the moment, really, is potential fights and fighters coming back after long layoffs.
One thing to mention. A very, very popular British professional fighter is making his return to combat sports in the sense of bare knuckle. James DeGale is making his BKFC debut.
Okay.
So I thought I'd notice that. Shout out to Mr. Marlon Gillett as well, who fights on DFC, but he's James DeGale's sparring partner. So so there's that there as well. But James DeGale is making his debut on BKFC, which is bare knuckle fighting championship.
Conor McGregor's won that, isn't it? Or the one
one of, I think so. I think it might be linked to it, but BKFC is what he's fighting on. And he's making his debut on it. So James DeGale makes a return.
Okay. I hope that goes well for him. Bare knuckle is different, though.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, we've got a big fight announcement in Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman, October 25th. And then on the undercard is actually the better fight, which is Ashaki Foster versus Stephen Fulton.
Great.
For the WBC super featherweight title. So that honestly, seeing Fundora, who I think he's a good champion. I just don't love watching him fight. I don't like someone who's 6'5" not using range in a fight. It just annoys me.
I think that if he comes up, he will lose this fight. I'm going to make that prediction now.
You think he's going to lose to Keith Thurman? Okay.
You know my thoughts on Fundora, innit?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
big fan.
I'm a big fan of Fundora. No, look. Again, he's one of the fighters who done this thing of winning a title and then just decided not to box for ages. I hate that, but everyone's entitled to do what they want to do as professional boxers. My thing is, though, there has to be a period where you do that and then you risk losing your title.
I don't know. Has he been that inactive? I think, relatively speaking,
After he won the title, when was his next fight?
I think this will be surprising. I think this is going to come more down to a lack of promotion. He won his title against Tim Tszyu.
Yeah.
In 2024. A year later, he fought again against Chordell Booker, and he won by knockout. And then he fought 4 months later to fight Tim Tszyu again, which we watched live on stream, where he knocked him out in a pretty dominant fight. I do agree. I still think a year is too long when you're not a dominant champion. But yeah, I don't know. I think him coming back.
It depends what Thurman turns up, though. I swear down.
Yeah. If the best Keith Thurman turns up, I think this is actually it's an easy fight for Thurman. But
if it's not the best Thurman, it could be very one-sided. But definitely. I do feel like is Thurman really the mandatory for that belt?
Yeah, I think he is technically, but it's another one of these. It just doesn't. Yeah, he knocked out Brock Jarvis in earlier this year. I forgot. I mean, everyone's forgot about that fight, but yeah, he did it in Sydney, so he is mandatory. But
what was Brock Jarvis's rankings?
I think Brock Jarvis was mandatory at the time. That's why Jarvis took the fight. Because Jarvis beat. Oh no, Jarvis lost to Paro, didn't he? Isn't that the? Yeah, he lost to Paro. Liam Paro. That's what put Liam Paro on the stage.
He lost to Liam Paro.
And he kind of got his
then he got two wins. Lost against Keith Thurman. He then fought Sam Beck beat Sam Beck, and then he's fighting Ken Aitken on the 18th of September.
He's an okay fighter.
Again,
some good wins, but
I mean, yeah, it's again. I talk about these rankings and respectively, they're just not great, to be honest with you. But such is life. I don't know if I don't know if there's other worthy champions or worthy fighters that are better than Thurman that could get in there with Fundora.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, there's that side of it. But this is, correct me if I'm wrong, WBC.
This is WBC and WBO, I think. WBA, I think, are also.
Yeah.
Because, Fundora has unified. I think he's got 2. I think he had 2, and then he got stripped of the WBO, I think. But yeah, I think he's got WBA. There is positives in the rankings. Because of a certain fight being Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, which we're not going to talk about the actual fight too much, but we're going to talk about more a good thing that's happened. The WBA are having a meeting over the next week or so, or however long. I mean, they take their time, really, as to whether or not they should strip Gervonta Davis of his title.
They should strip him. It's not even a conversation. They should.
It shouldn't be a conversation, but they're going to have one. Hopefully, they come to the conclusion that, all right, this guy's not fighting. He should have fought Lamont Roach already in the rematch, in a fight that he should have lost anyway, if you're looking at it from that, from the sensible point of view. And now in November 15th, he's going to fight Jake Paul, which means, and we know what Gervonta Davis is like. That means we're not going to, even if he fights, the earliest he'll defend his actual title would be, April 2026? So Lamont Roach is meant to sit there for 8 months. That's not fair.
I mean, when we look at it like this, he went out. If I go for Romero up, or even Isaac Cruz,
Yeah.
Quite active. Obviously, for Isaac Cruz, December 21.
Yeah.
Romero in May 22. Hector Luis Garcia in January 23. Ryan Garcia in 23. Frank Martin in 24. June 24. 2024. And then you got Lamont Roach in March 2025 in what is going to be a draw.
Yeah.
In what was a draw. And then now he's going to go and fight Jake Paul. When's that scheduled for?
November 15th.
November 15th. So we potentially are talking. You're not doing. If correct me if I'm wrong, but they were very quick to strip Jay Opetaia of his Ring magazine belt when he took the fight with Chisora.
Yeah, extremely.
Because at the time, Ring magazine didn't rank Chisora. However, there's no order between these boards because they just do what they want. Ring magazine would done, whether people like it or not. In the books, it may have been seen as a correct decision for them to make, but they made the decision. They made a decision and they stood on it. Whether we agree with it or not, it's a story for another day. But ultimately, you're talking about another board who are having a meeting to decide if he should be stripped. The difference is, obviously, Jay Opetaia went and won that back, but he's not going and fighting YouTubers. Gervonta Davis is going to fight a YouTuber who is not only a YouTuber, but he's 210 pounds. It's like it's going to be like watching Rey Mysterio when he fought Great Khali.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous fight. I mean, we're not even. It's not sanctioned officially under any American boxing body. It's under the. I can't remember what they're called. I can actually find out. Hopefully, it's sanctioned as an exhibition bout, meaning there's going to be different rules. The whole thing's it's just a fad. Like it's not. Look, the point is the WBA will hopefully do the right thing, strip Gervonta Davis, and then what they'll do is go, right, Lamont Roach should now be the WBA champion, and either they'll give it to him, which is deserved, or they'll do what I'd personally like to see and say, right, let's make Lamont Roach Jr. versus Shakur Stevenson for the WBC and the WBA world titles. Because apparently those are the only two fighters in that division. Well, not the only two. Those are the only two elite fighters in that division that want to fight each other.
Mm.
And it's not fair, right? Lamont Roach Jr. has gone from being relatively a nobody, well, not a nobody, but a nobody, really, like compared to Gervonta Davis and Shakur, to the superstar name overnight when he did what he did to Gervonta. And then, but you get your 5 minutes of fame, and you you have to hold on to it, but you can't do that in an industry where you're not being allowed to actually get in the ring and show how good you are.
Are we not forgetting as well? You go back to that fight, Lamont Roach fight, where Gervonta Davis took a knee and it wasn't counted.
It's genuinely it should have. It's a win every day of the week. Now, I do personally think Shakur is I think Shakur beats Lamont Roach quite easily. That I do, but at the very least, it means that Lamont Roach Jr. gets a huge fight, which he's deserved, gets a massive payday, and gets another shot to win the world title, which he arguably should have anyway. The whole thing's disappointing. We're not going to talk necessarily about Jake Paul and Tank. That's been signed. That it's ridiculous, and
that's I've actually got no words for that. But exactly. What I will say is summary of what we just discussed. Judges are shit, and potentially a massive. No, it's not even potentially. It was a robbery.
Yeah.
Our main point of that was judges are shit. Just want to throw that one in there.
Yeah. The WBA have a chance as well to do something good for boxing and strip him. But the other sort of big news, I just don't want to talk about Davis Paul at all, if I'm honest with you. We have to bring it up, but we don't want to. The other interesting news, Jai Opetaia, who we actually mentioned a couple of seconds ago, looking quite likely he is moving up to heavyweight for his next fight.
Sorry,
Eddie Hearn is wanting. Yeah, Eddie getting fights for Jai Opetaia is apparently becoming really difficult. But Zerdo apparently seems to be coming up with every reason under the sun why he doesn't want to fight him. I don't know if it's probably. I imagine it's just he wants more money, but Jai Opetaia versus Derek Chisora is what Turkey Al Sheikh wants next. I can't be honest. I don't think Jai Opetaia is.
We spoke about this with us. Do you know what? Spoke about this a little bit with somebody who obviously knows Jai Opetaia well. I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
But has done work with him in the gym and stuff like that. And we was having a chat, and he was saying that Jai Opetaia is not a natural heavyweight. He's just not.
No.
He's very, very light. He's a cruiserweight. It wouldn't make sense for me for him to pursue a career at heavyweight because it just doesn't make any sense. So, Jake Wood, Rock Tank, third round KO. Yeah, I hear it, Matt. I hear it. I actually am probably one of the people, and I know we said we're not going to talk about it a lot, but I'm one of the people that actually, for once, might actually say Jake Paul might win this fight. Never thought I'd say that. But going back to the point, Jai Opetaia, he's not a natural heavyweight, so I'm not sure what they're looking to do. But then Jai Opetaia's got all the talent in the world. If he makes that transition, the heavyweights will gain another good boxer at heavyweight.
They will. Here's the issue I've got. Is Jai Opetaia better than Usyk when Usyk moved up?
No. But I think
Opetaia could. I don't know if he could get to Usyk's level, but I think Opetaia could get a lot better. But
Usyk, the difference is Usyk completed cruiserweight, and then moved up. Jai Opetaia hasn't done that for reasons out of his control. So there will always be that cast of doubt in you can't make the comparison because he's not done what Usyk's done at cruiserweight.
He's also smaller. And I know that we look at Usyk and we go, "Oh, Usyk's a small heavyweight," but he's actually 6'3.5", nearly 6'4". He's got a 78, 79-inch reach. Like he's really the only people he's smaller than are sort of the freaks of like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder's pretty massive as well. Like other than that, he's pretty much the same size. Where it's Opetaia. Opetaia's 6'2". Jesus,
that's a clip.
Yeah.
Oh God, carry on.
Opetaia's 6'2". His reach is 76. He's not. I don't think he's big enough, and we're not. And like you say, we're not talking about someone that's cleared out the division.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100. I think he'd beat Zerdo, but I'm not 100% sure. Until we know that, if Opetaia goes in and knocks out Zerdo, and then he knocks out Badu Jack, and then he unifies the division, then it's like, okay, well, he might as well move up because there's nothing else for him to do. You might as well try it. It's weird to say this about someone who's got 28 fights on their record, but I feel like they're rushing him.
No, not rushing him, but aesthetically, he's just not a big. There's certain fighters, you would not put Bivol as a heavyweight, right? You would not put Bivol, I don't think, in a conversation of cruiserweights.
I think they will.
Maybe,
will
but
move up.
I'm saying at this stage,
I would love them to move
you
up, by the
wouldn't
way,
put-
because he will box their head off them.
Bivol is a small-ish light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of light heavyweights are kind of like, do you know what I mean? So,
But do you not think, because Bivol would be like the Usyk in this situation where he has completed the light heavyweight division.
bro, I went to the boxer event in Crystal Palace last year.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to Boatsi.
Yeah.
Boatsi, standing next to him, naturally he's bigger than me, but bro, like I'm looking at Boatsi. Boatsi's a comparison because Boatsi's a light heavy.
Yeah.
Boatsi, now put Boatsi against a cruiserweight, a strong cruiserweight. Aesthetically, it's different. There's weight classes for a reason. So it's like I look at it like that, and I go, Opetaia not a massive heavyweight, cruiserweight. I just don't see how that's going to work. It will probably work against fighters like Chisora. He's coming towards the end of his career. If he fights somebody at a high level at heavyweight, he might struggle.
I agree.
Talma, Atang, all these guys coming up because that's the pool that he's going to be in with Dubois. You know, talk about Zangs. You talk like all the top guys. Parker, who's just built heavier. You know, so it's like, I don't see how that's going to work, but like I said, if it happens, it happens, I guess.
But that's kind of why I do think it comes under an element of rushing it. Maybe I think to an extent it is rushing him. I think
but
look, if Bivol moved up to cruiserweight right now, we'd be. I still like the Beterbiev rematch. I think
Bivol beat Zerdo,
but Bivol beat Zerdo at 175. Bivol has won every belt at 175 and beaten Beterbiev, who those are the two people in that division. I mean, sure, Bivol can fight Benavidez and he can fight Callum Smith and he can fight Beterbiev again. He can do all this, but realistically, I think he beats all of them. I think Beterbiev's the only one that's actually competitive. So with Bivol moving up, it's okay. There's a real challenge there, but he can now put himself in a conversation of we've never seen a fighter like this. We have seen fighters do it before, but Bivol can get an opportunity to do that, put himself in that category. Opetaia he is dominant at cruiserweight, but to be truly dominant, you have to have beaten another champion. And I know he beat Breedis, but I mean like unify. That's a big thing nowadays. He's got one title, but if you look at Opetaia's record since winning that title, it's not his fault, and I'm not suggesting that it is, but he beat Breedis over 12 rounds in a really tough fight. He did win it, but unanimous decision. Fought Jordan Thompson, who wasn't ready for that kind of fight, I don't think. Beat Ellis Zorro, who I think the occasion was just huge and a punch from the gods landed. So Ellis got no opportunity to really show what he could do. But again, Ellis probably wasn't world title ready in how he had progressed in his career. Then he fought Breedis again, which it was an all right fight, but we'd already seen how that went. Then Jack Massey. Jack Massey was an okay fight, but again, Jack Massey not quite there. David Onyeka, a better fight, but that again was a pull-out and he had to fight. And Claudio Squio, which was one of the better fights of the lot. There's nobody there that to me goes, oh, they were so much bigger than Opetaia, but his level and he's beating them. Everyone there is actually same sort of size, or if they're bigger, they're considerably less experienced, and if they're smaller, then they're sort of the same. Like my thing, I can't imagine Opetaia heavyweight. That's kind of what I'm saying, really.
Yeah, I think we've spoke on that, but yeah, that's my output on it. Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know with that one.
And then a sort of an interesting turn of events over the last day or two is potentially the return of two well, one real fan favorite fighter who's really been out of action since his fight with Terence Crawford, and another that some people like, some people don't. Bit Marmite. Jermell Charlo versus Errol Spence Jr. Not announced.
It's a
so
great fight, though.
Be very clear, that's not been announced. But Charlo not been really seen. He's not fought, at least, since he lost to Canelo in 2023 September. And Errol Spence hasn't fought since he lost in 2023 to Crawford in July. So same sort of layoff. Charlo posted yesterday a photo of a lion, which is obviously his kind of, I guess, his animal, or like how he would describe himself, whatever, biting a fish. Errol Spence calls himself a fish or a shark, whatever. Apparently there's negotiations going on. I think Errol Spence is done.
My question is exactly that. It's how much does Errol Spence have left? I think he's achieved everything he wanted to achieve in the sport. He's changed his life. He's changed his family's life. I think there comes a point, and I make the comparison in the sense of Jermell Charlo, for people who don't know, is massive on farming, by the way. He's got massive farm. Not Charlo. What's his name? Why have I gone blank? Errol Spence is massive on farming. Sorry. I don't know why I went blank for a minute. Errol Spence is massive on his farming. He's got his family. He's earned a massive stake in boxing.
Yeah.
He's been in some great fights. He come over here, done the deed in Sheffield, for those who don't remember, against a very, very game fighter in Brook. So, like, you know, he's had his time under the lights. The Terence Crawford fight, I think, took a lot out of him. Bearing in mind, in that time as well, he had a car crash as well, a quite serious car crash.
Two car crashes, yeah.
I don't think he's in it anymore. Or it'd be hard. I think it's going to be hard to get himself back to where people may have seen him once before. And I think I use the analogy, and they say the same with Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor achieved everything in the UFC, double champion at two-weight world champion, you know, changed his life completely from being on universal credit to one of the wealthiest fighters in the world now. And Dana White said it, and he said, "What the question you've got to ask yourself is when you've won all of that and you've got all the money, what is your motivation now?"
Yeah.
What is your motivation? Because we all know in boxing, fighting for a title don't mean shit when you're earning when your commercial value outweighs fighting for a WBC title. You're going to go commercially with the fight that makes the most sense. We're seeing that with Joshua now. You look at the potential fight that he's making with Yoka. People look at it and go, he's fighting Yoka. The big commercial asset of that fight is he's fighting in Africa.
Yeah.
So if the commercial decision outweighs fighting for a world title, then all day you're going to take the commercial. Look at Eubank and Ben, main example of it. Eubank coming towards the end of the career. For me, I think Eubank needs Ben more than Ben needs Eubank.
Definitely. Conor Ben could be fighting for a world title. Well, he should be.
Yeah. So commercial value will outweigh, and obviously this fight, I'd imagine, is going to pay them quite a bit of money. So I think he's probably doing it for financial gain. But building yourself up to fight for a world title again, then you've got to fight some of the mandatories who, if you're an Errol Spence or even a Charlo, commercially fighting a guy who doesn't bring as much to the table value-wise as you, you're not going to take that fight. So I think when you get to a certain level in boxing, the rankings kind of, you shoot yourself in the foot because you earn so much money that you're not going to go and fight a guy for 800 grand when you can go and get 7 million for fighting this guy, because that's what you bring. And if your opponent don't bring the same value, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, business wise, great fight. But in terms of where Spence goes, I don't know. Unless he can get the Terence Crawford rematch, I don't think there's much else out there for him.
The only thing that's like worth noting about this is that this fight would be at 154. So be it super welter or junior middle or whatever you want to call it. So obviously a big thing with the Crawford fight that we overlook, and it's fair enough. Crawford was just one of the best performances I've ever seen, like ever, just flat out ever. It was a 50-50 fight. But if you watch it now, you'll think Errol Spence was just a challenger who was nowhere near the champion that night. But Errol Spence was very weight drained. So at 154 pounds, there's actually a good chance that he'll be back to sort of his best, like he was at welterweight. I like this fight, but I think I do like this fight. It's a similar layoff. They're both on their day. They're both like some of the best fighters in the world. It gives a good opportunity for both to come back. So I like it. The only thing I don't like is that they've been out for 2 years, so I have no idea what they've got left. That's probably my only issue with it, but can't really complain about that. You won't know until we see it. Now, other than that, boxing is quiet. We've had Mark Chamberlain and Jack Rafferty gave us a great fight over the weekend, leading to a draw. It'll be interesting to see where they go from that. I think most people are calling for the rematch.
Yeah,
it's fair enough. It's really, really great fight. I actually thought Rafferty might just get the decision, but I think the draw was fair. And then I'm just scrolling through to see if I've missed anything on my notes here. I don't think I have. There's not much going on in boxing right now. We're building up to Canelo Crawford. We're building up to Noah Inoue versus Murazin Akhmadiev, and then we are building up to November 22nd. Is that the next? Oh, I guess November 15th. I don't know. Let's just build up. And then we get the fight soon. Other than that, what have we got coming up? Like I said at the start of the stream, we've got 2 pre-recorded episodes out next week and the week after. They're quite good. We cover sort of different topics than we normally would, along with a Canelo Crawford kind of build-up. We have got boxing this week as normal. There's quite a lot of different kind of reels coming out. A little bit, I don't know. I'll just let you see them, but they should be quite interesting. And other than that, I'm not sure. I will be away for the next month. Hopefully, I will be able to appear on the boxing this week's. It just depends on Wi-Fi. But yeah, we appreciate the support. We've had some really good support over the last since actually we started, but over the last month or two, it's been pretty insane. So we always appreciate that. We are on Spotify, which has actually done okay. So we appreciate that as well. Instagram, not on Twitter, probably should sort that out actually. TikTok, obviously, and Twitch, which some people might have been watching this from tonight. But I'll be completely real with you, we don't know.
We're not on TikTok tonight, though, are we?
No, we're not on TikTok. We're on Twitch. TikTok, we will be live streaming from in the future, as well as the YouTube and
we
Twitch.
tried to do it tonight, but logistically, it just wasn't possible. So moving forward,
if you know RTMPs, then hit me up because I need help. Yeah. Right. Anyway, that is boxing this week 62. I think that's everything. Paolo, have you got anything else you'd like to add?
I have got one thing to say. A wise man once said, like, share, and subscribe before you end up in the mud and you can't do it. Good night.
It's been a while since we've had that.